It's no surprise that Roblox horror games are usually very stinky. They plague the site like a dumpster full of mice. But there are a few games that stand out from others, one example being Doors. I've talked about Doors like 3 times already, so I won't bore you with my mindless rambling, but Doors is just one of the very few Roblox games on the site that I consider decent. Another one of these games is The Intruder. The Intruder is a game that honestly stood out from other Roblox games. Maybe seeing the same recycled anime games will make any man go crazy, but is The Intruder actually good? Let's find out. When you load into the game, you're given the option to play solo or play with others. Since I have no friends, I'm going to be experiencing this game alone. In this game, you can play 3 different levels, so let's start with the house. And each level has 3 different difficulties. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be playing on easy mode. The house starts with a VHS tape describing how to survive the quote-unquote intruders. The VHS explains how the intruders are not very nice and want to kill you for no reason, so you have to hide from them before they find you. And if you couldn't tell, this game is obviously inspired by the Mandela catalog. The game is kind of like alternate watch, if you ever played it, so you have to watch cameras and keep track of the intruder. The camera system is inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think it works pretty well, but I'll give my full opinion on the cameras later. For now, let's talk about how you even survive the first level. In the small cramped room, there's only one place to hide from the intruder, and that place being the closet. But if you move around too much or keep the lights on, the intruder will snatch you up anyway, even if you're hiding. So you must turn off the light and hide in the closet. But how do you know if the intruder is about to enter the room? Well, the intruder is kind of stupid and will knock on your door. Sometimes it'll pretend to be your mom and dad, but it doesn't work since they sound like robots. And I feel like now is a good time to mention the 2 meters on the left side of your screen. They act kind of like the power in FNAF 1, except instead of dealing with a slowly draining power source, you have to keep your anxiety and the intruder's awareness down. You can keep your anxiety down by stalking the intruder on your cameras. I guess the protagonist is so screen addicted that they feel safer staring at a screen than they do hiding. Anyways, the intruder's awareness will remain at 0, but if the phone begins randomly ringing, the meter will slowly go up. To stop this process, you must quickly, or I guess I should say, painstakingly slowly turn off the phone. And if any of these meters reach 100%, you will instantly die. But now I guess it's time to talk about the cameras. The cameras work well, my only complaint is that there's nothing else to them. Its only purpose is for you to keep track of the monster. The creators tried to fix this by adding an anxiety meter, but it still doesn't help the fact that the night feels repetitive. You do the same thing over and over again until you beat the night. Aside from being repetitive, the gameplay is actually pretty enjoyable. The night doesn't last too long, so nothing ever becomes annoying. So I'll give this level a 7.5 out of 10 on the tomato scale. Anyways, let's move on to the second level. The next level is the mall. In this level, you play as a security guard as you work the night shift. This night is very similar to the first. There's a few differences though. Instead of hiding in a closet, you have to hide in one of the many lockers. You don't have to turn off the light when you hear a knock, but you do have to turn off your light when the intruder disappears from Cam 9. I never encountered this instance, so I don't really know how to survive it. Anyways, the anxiety meter works the exact same it did in the first night, but the awareness meter works differently. Instead of bashing your phone, you have to turn off one of the many alarm systems in your room, and they are very loud. Other than going deaf, I forgot to mention that during the night, the power will randomly go out. In the first level, you need to reboot the power on your computer, but in the second level, you need to replace the fuse box. I wish they added more to power outages. Making the intruder more aggressive during power outages might work, but to be honest, this night is very similar to the first, so there isn't much to talk about. But it is an improvement in my opinion, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. So let's just move on to the final night. The final night is the end? The level is very different from the other 2 we've previously seen. Instead of being a survival game, it's more of a walking simulator with mediocre storytelling. And since I don't care about the story for this game, I'm not going to be talking about it in this video. But how bad is the gameplay? For the first 5 minutes, you have to listen to a boring dialogue session, and even after all the talking, the actual gameplay isn't as fun as the first and second levels. Your goal is to go deeper into the house that the intruder is staying at. To do this, you must complete puzzles, and these puzzles are so brain dead. At a certain point, a giant baby doll just spawns and it begins chasing you, but you're given no warning, so the baby just pops up out of nowhere and kills you. You also need to do some awesome parkour that barely seems to work. I was following the path that I was supposed to, but I still almost fell like 3 times. So all these things in this level just don't work together. It kind of reminds me of the issue that Sister Location has. In Sister Location, you do random tasks until you complete the night. The same thing happens in this level. You enter 4 different rooms and do random tasks until the final door opens. When the final door opens, a chase begins. The chase is kind of mid, in my opinion. But after you successfully escape, the level ends there. Honestly, kind of disappointing. The first 2 levels had a great concept. The house had great ideas, but didn't execute them to its full potential. The mall map fixed a lot of these issues, but something still felt missing. So I was hoping that the end could build off the first 2 levels, but it seems we just got a boring walking simulator instead, so I'm gonna have to give this level a 4 out of 10. It was just not fun at all. After playing the 3 main levels, you can play some bonus VHS tapes, but they give boring exposition, so I don't care about them. But is this game one of the good Roblox games? If the devs continue to make maps like the first and second levels, I can see this game blowing up like crazy. But until then, this game is sitting at a solid 7.5 out of 10. The system location-esque gameplay is not the way to go, so please make yummy levels for future updates. Anyways, that's all for this video. Get out of here.